AITA for refusing to let my boyfriend and his nephew move into my house temporarily. I, 23F, inherited my grandparents' house and land last year. I'd rather have my grandparents back, but at least I'm set up with a good place to live out of college and don't have to worry about housing like a lot of my friends. I've been seeing my boyfriend Adam, 24NM, for a year and a half, and we've been planning to move in together this summer. He would be moving to my place. Right now, he lives in an apartment with 3 roommates. Adam has an older brother that is kind of a POS. He and his girlfriend are addicts and have been involved in shady stuff in the past, so Adam only talks to them at holidays usually. They have a son, 5M, that Adam sends birthday cards and gifts to, but hasn't spent a whole lot of time around because of the family drama. A couple of weeks ago, the worst happened and the girlfriend died, and Adam's brother is going to be in jail probably for a very long time. Adam's mom is disabled and not in good enough health to keep up with a 5-year-old full-time. Girlfriend's family apparently disowned her and want nothing to do with it. That leaves Adam as a guardian for the kid or foster care. I am not a kid person. I don't dislike kids, but I had my own messed up childhood, and I would not be a good parent or be able to deal with the noise and chaos of a small kid easily. Adam knows this as we've had the "what if there's an oops" and future planning conversations. So I was surprised when Adam asked about moving plans up for us to live together so that he would have space to take in his nephew. I said I wasn't okay with him bringing his nephew, and that since the situation had changed, the plan would have to be put off until something was figured out. He said there's no room for his nephew at his current place, and rent is sky high, so he wouldn't be able to afford a new place on his own. My place has plenty of room and would be perfect. And this is literally the difference between his nephew staying with family and going God knows where. We argued, and his mom has been calling me to beg me to let them stay with me for a while, until they can make other arrangements. I have a feeling that a little while would turn into permanently once the kid got comfortable. Mutual friends have been telling me I'd be an asshole for not helping Adam at least temporarily, because I'm lucky to have the space, but I really don't want my space invaded like that and have to deal with kicking them out eventually, if nothing else comes up. People point out this is probably the end of the relationship. Yeah, sadly it probably is. I'd be happy to continue dating seriously without living together because it would still be a year or two before I'd feel comfortable getting engaged and married, and that's plenty of time to work on a solution, but if it's now or bust, I'm going to have to pick bust. Feeling pressured into things is a big deal for me. More about why she would be willing to live separately for a few years when a kid is a longer commitment. I'd be okay with being in a permanent relationship with someone I didn't live with, so maybe a solution is we stay together and live separately until the kid is grown up. That would work for me. I'm pretty self-sufficient, and I don't need a live-in partner to be happy, I think. I also have a feeling this guardian situation isn't going to last. Adam doesn't strike me as the kind of person right now to take on a traumatized little kid and all the stuff that goes with it. I'd give it 3 months for the panic to wear off, and the reality sets in for him to realize how much it's going to change his life in ways he can't deal with. Maybe I'll be surprised, but Adam is one of those people that kinda needs to start with keeping a houseplant alive first. Didn't he already take in his nephew? I mean, technically he hasn't yet. He needs a stable place to live that meets CPS basic requirements before they turn the kid over to him, so the kid is living in a temporary foster home right now. More about why she thinks he would not be a good fit for his nephew. We've been friends for a while before we started dating. He's never taken care of a kid, never even had a pet. He's a good guy, but he's a dude in his early 20s that hasn't had a whole lot of responsibility or tie-downs until now. And part of the reason that I want to ease into living together and thinking about marriage over a few years is that I grew up in an unstable environment with unstable people and was in foster care for a while, and I want to make sure he can settle and stabilize. I don't think he completely understands what's going to happen when the backpats stop and he has to deal with actually having a kid. I'm not shitting on him, but as someone who was a child in a similar need, I know that well-intentioned people like Adam often make it worse. And not every desire to step up is followed by a capacity to adequately step up without fucking up the kid even worse. If he can't hack it, it's the kid that's going to suffer the majority of the fallout. So I don't really think Adam is thinking of what's really best for the kid, as much as he doesn't want to think he's a bad person for refusing to take on the kid. Foster care isn't the worst thing that can happen here. He can still be involved in the kid's life, Even if the kid is in foster care right now and can possibly take on custody in the future when he's actually able to house and care for the kid is in foster care right now, so he would have to get himself together just to be eligible. Why can't BF's mom take the nephew in? No space. She lives in a one-bedroom condo, and I think there's something with her disability that it would affect her status if someone earning a full paycheck was living with her, but I'm not 100% sure on that part. Can boyfriend move into his brother and SIL's house? Without getting into the messy details too much, no. Nobody is going to be living there ever again. More about the house. This house is the only safe place I had growing up. I really don't want to move out of it. It's one of the few places I feel completely at ease, so it makes managing my PTSD easier. I know I'm safe here and no one can kick me out, get rid of me, or treat me like shit in my own house. I'm sorry for the kid, but I'm not willing to give that up. I doubt Adam would be able to afford the rent, since I couldn't charge him less than what it would take to get me a place to live somewhere else, so it's the same problem. Let them stay for a bit. It's a lot bigger deal than that. Even with a lease, if Adam can't find somewhere and refuses to go, I would have to give them 30 days notice to move before starting eviction, and that would take at minimum like 30 days beyond that. So then I'm stuck for at least an extra month or two, with 2 people in my house that I don't want there, one an angry ex, the other an already traumatized kid who will be taken back by CPS anyway if Adam is evicted with no place to go and doesn't need to be exposed to any more adults fighting and instability. This is one reason why it's obvious to me that Adam isn't ready to parent this kid. He doesn't have a plan that doesn't involve other people doing most of it for him. Update 1. Well, decision made. I broke up with him last night. Reading all the responses made me realize that I don't actually want him to move in with or without his nephew at this point. He did not take it well at all, but probably another reason this wasn't going to work in the end. Hopefully, he and his mom can figure something out together. Update 2. Some of you guys were totally right about his intentions. He dropped the idea of taking his nephew in a few days after I broke up with him and called from a mutual friend's phone to ask me to take him back. I asked him why he wasn't going to take in his nephew, and he said it would be too hard to do alone. So, looks like he was expecting me to help him with the kid all along instead of just letting them stay for a while. Without a free place to live and a built-in helper, he's not interested. I did not take him back. I think the breakup was the best thing that could have happened. I feel a lot better without him in my life. Thanks for the advice.